Hi everyone, Sandman here. This video is brought to you by a donation from Kit Lindsay, and here's what he has to say. Hi Sandman, I've got a possible idea for a video, but I'm not sure if it would be a subject worth talking about. I was thinking about what it is about women and their need to travel as much as they can, and to as many places as they can. I'm sure you've noticed when you've gone online dating. 99% of women talk about traveling as if it's one of their qualities that makes them more desirable. And if a man hasn't traveled the world, then he's beneath her. Now we know they're on a cock adventure in exotic erotic ports of call, hoping to be banged by Ubangi Tyrone and Chad from Chad. My opinion is they travel so they seem smarter and so they have something to talk about besides themselves. Although it's still talking about themselves. Go figure. That's about it, my friend. Keep safe and keep doing what you need to do to balance it out with things you want to do. Well, Kit, thanks for the donation as well as the topic. And I guess I'll tell everyone about today's sponsor, and that of course is your company, Lindsay Transmission. Kit Lindsay owns and operates his tranny shop in Missouri. No, not these types of trannies, but these types. He fixes vintage transmissions in many of the cars that you see here. So if you've got a classic car in the United States or Canada, you can ship him the parts through UPS. He accomplishes the repair and then sends it back. He's also a fellow MGTOW and one of the few men in the country who works on antique and classic car transmissions. So give him a call. His contact information is in the description below. Anyways, now back to the video. There are many reasons women travel and I'll go through them one by one. And then I'll discuss why men travel. Quite often women are bored with the hedonism found at home because of the novelty wearing off. So they go someplace else for a change of scenery. They seemingly never grow past simple pleasures. That allows them to enjoy life more fully than men in some ways, but it also limits them in other ways. So if it's all about pleasure and good vibes, then you can actually see why women travel to meet exotic man-meat in strange countries, to express that sexuality. They also travel to try new foods, alcoholic beverages, and take those dame-fangled narcissistic selfies. If they go to a beach resort, they do so in order to gain attention from their bikinis. Think about it. Flying 4,000 miles to put on a bikini. Of course, there is also the idea of showing off one's status as wealthy enough to travel in the first place, to take time off of work to continue paying your rent at home while traveling abroad. On typical dating profiles, they post they're looking for a man with wealth by posting pictures of themselves traveling. They're playing the part of the female chameleon, projecting to men what they themselves find attractive in a man. You're also right, Kit, that they travel to appear smarter and less boring than they really are. But as you mentioned, it's always about them. They're always in the pictures and hardly ever take pictures of just the locals on their own. But what about being creative while hitting the road traveling? Why don't they paint, write, take some sort of artistic photographs, or make a video documentary? Very few women do any of those things, and if they do, then they're usually the center of attention in all of them. I've known other women that virtue signal travel by helping orphans in Costa Rica. One woman signed up for a year and came home only after a month because she couldn't handle it. Other Western women traveled to Japan but didn't get any male attention, so they end up coming back. They want to get everything they have at home and more, and if they don't, they come home if there are no foreign men willing to make them come. Women's travel for the most part is a waste of jet fuel and contributes to the destruction of the environment, if you believe in global warming. Future generations will ask us, did people really fly around the world to sit on a beach doing nothing when they could have done that a half-hour drive from home? I witnessed this sort of insanity when I went to Fiji. I didn't travel to the middle of the Pacific Ocean to Fiji to sit on a beach. I could have done that in some Caribbean island. So I decided to go 3 days earlier than my girlfriend and explore the place on my own, hopping from island to island. I've also traveled to educate myself about history, to generate revenue from travel photos in the past, and my travel channel which pays for trips that I take each and every single year, to produce yet more content. I also record the faces of the people I see because think back to when you travel if you can remember their faces. And the thing is, those are usually the things that fade from your memory first. I capture people on video telling their tales, and it does the remembering for me. The difference between men and women traveling is that women travel for attention and hedonism. Men typically travel because men, such as myself, want creative inspiration. I imagine myself standing in Paris on the steps of the Opera House, surrounded by amazing architecture. I think back to the first time I saw an Egyptian temple and was inspired by thousands of years' worth of creative expression. I don't think about how great the margaritas are on the beach and the sun warming up my body, or how I'm going to take a selfie and show others about how I'm standing on a spot that makes them feel jealous. For those of you that don't know about it, I actually put a link to my Cool Buildings channel in the description. I look through my videos and they flood me with memories mostly good about being in a place. I get to relive things to a greater depth than photos ever would allow me to. My spirit dies in a beach resort, but the vast majority of women travel to them and only to places like that. For me, a good vacation is one I need a vacation from, when I get home exhausted and overwhelmed. For women, travel means to be seen through selfies, to be fucked by the locals, to be served dinner by the natives in Western waiter uniforms, and to be objectified in their bikinis, to have pleasurable things done to them. For men, travel is done to meet clients, travel for work, for exploration, and to challenge oneself to do things no one has done before. As history is our guide, most women only travel to places after they've been made mostly safe. Guys are also more likely to travel for economic opportunities than women are. For example, if you look at the manifest of the Titanic, there were 462 men in third class, while there were only 165 women. When traveling across the ocean took a week, very few women actually did it. But when it takes 7 hours to get to Europe from a plane from here, and it's safe, you see tons of women doing it. I wonder how many women will choose to travel to Mars one day. I'm guessing that at first it'll most likely be 10 or 20 men for every one woman. But once the place is built up and the travel speeds increase, and it's safe, women will go to other planets to take holographic selfies. It is what it is. Many men have become multimillionaires from women's desire for travel hedonism. Kate, you also bring up that women want to talk about themselves without talking about themselves, by using travel as plausible deniability for their narcissism. As a guy, I never post travel photos and share them on places like Facebook anymore, and hunt for likes that way from people I know so I can get attention and validation from them. I used to do that with photos before, but I stopped because I understood that it was a petty attention attempt. But women I'm still friends with on social media are still there posting on Instagram their trips to far-flung lands. During COVID, a few of them were actually going up to northern Canada, or the Maritimes where there are almost zero cases. Places where they most certainly can't put on a bikini, but they're still taking those selfies, and I'm sure when they get back home and go on a date, guys will ask them what they were doing there. I've actually posted on Tinder that I travel quite a bit, and I get a lot of women that also travel matching my profile. I suspect that they're just looking for a free ride after I get on top of them and go for a ride between their legs. Plus, I don't know who these women traveled with in the past. I remember one woman I was dating back in 2015, I wanted to travel to the Southwest with her, and she said she'd go under one condition, that I'd take photos of her alone at each place. Now that doesn't sound suspicious at all now, does it? Almost as if she was planning on having a whole bunch of pictures for her profile pics on social media after breaking up with me, that she could then use to lure the next guy in to show him that she was cultured and a world traveler. I said screw it. I got a discounted television through her work and then dumped her without even telling her the reason. There are a bunch of reasons for it, but just keep in mind if you're traveling with a woman and she insists that you get photos of just her in them, then Houston, we may have a problem. You may need to send that thought packing to the nearest airlock. So you really have to wonder who paid for that woman's travels in the past. That same woman that actually wanted me to take individual pictures of her at each place in the Southwest also went to South America. And you could tell that someone else was taking her pictures instead of them being selfies. So if you're going to date a woman off a dating app, pay close attention to see who takes her pictures. Of course, you could be doing what I do, which is to ask people to take pictures of me when I travel. First, I take a picture of them so they know exactly what type of photo I'm looking for. Then they take the same picture of me in an identical fashion. But how many women do you actually know that'll actually have the patience to ask someone to hold their $1,000 phone? They would rather just do it themselves with a selfie stick. Don't be fooled into thinking that every woman that's a worldly traveler on Twitter has her own money and doesn't rape a guy's wallet. You don't know who's paid for her travels before. You don't know if she's looking for the same thing yet again. I actually tried to get a couple of women to come along for some of the trips I went on for free, so long as they worked on my channel with me, and they all flaked out. There's no room for work on the road for them when it's all about hedonism. I would also be leery of guys that take travel pictures of themselves and post them all over social media. Odds are such guys are most likely narcissists, and narcissists are the worst type of people because they tend to use and abuse others to get their narcissistic supply out of them. But that can also be another reason women post travel pictures of themselves as dating pictures. Maybe they're looking for a guy they can dominate in their relationship. After all, I keep hearing that women are increasingly looking for guys to date that are beta males. Maybe settle down with them so they can steal their savings. But I really doubt they're likely to fool around with them over the longer term. I'm glad I travel on my own because it allows me to be creative. My creativity suffers when I hit the road with others or when I don't get my peace and quiet. I recently noticed this as a writer. I script all my videos at night and finally figured out why I stay up at night. Because the peace and quiet so I can write without interruption. But it causes different sets of problems. During the day, lawnmowers and crazy neighbors are making noise while I'm trying to sleep, which ends up compromising my immune system, and I probably have a lot less T cells than an AIDS patient, so no wonder I have various illnesses. But it all comes down to a choice between the death and decay of my spirit, if I can't be creative due to being distracted, versus the death and decay of my body, from not getting the proper amount of uninterrupted sleep. I notice that my health gets worse even if I wake up for a second or two in the night and then fall back asleep instantly. It seems as though I have to get 8 hours uninterrupted with my consciousness completely out like a light. I just want to share that information in case anyone else out there is having issues with the lowered immune system during the COVID caper. I thought many of you might actually find that useful. The worst thing, of course, is during my travels, I typically would only run about 5 or 6 hours of sleep. I won't actually make that same mistake going forward when I eventually hit the road again. I may be getting more sleep in my future travels, but I still won't go to the beach the way that women do and sit there and do nothing with my time. Anyways, that's it for today. Thanks again to Kit Lindsay once again for the donation, topic, and sponsorship. Don't forget to smash the like button the way that women like to get smashed by foreign men on vacation, and the social consequences of that never follow them back home to their home country. Bang the bell and check out the MGTOW mystery link. Follow me on BitChute, Twitter, and Facebook to get tomorrow's video today. Subscribe to me on Minds, Gab, and MGTOW.tv to get the video for the day after tomorrow. This channel's been demonetized, so if you want to get back at corporate censors, demonetize them by taking away their ad dollars by installing the Brave browser. Link is down below. It also helps me out and you get cryptocurrency for viewing ads as well. You can also help me out through Subscribestar. Thanks for taking your daily dose of red pills, and remember, a red pill a day keeps the women you go on vacations with taking advantage of your photography skills so they can use the photos to lure the next guy in a way. So enjoy the rest of your day, and cheers. Now you can order and pay for dolls through 6 easy monthly payments so long as your credit is approved. Francesca is the favorite of many guys. How about Xena? She's certainly going to make your life full of wonder. You can also play patty cake with Jessica Rabbit if you prefer. Maybe this Tinkerbell will make you swell. Their futanari attachments also fit most dolls. If you have to ask about that, then it's not for you. What are you waiting for? It's time to trade shekels for some silicone jigglies. So lifelike you'll want to take all of them for a ride on your swing swang. Check out the YouTube channel as well as the website down below.